Hello and welcome in for the Ultimate Florida Sports Show. I am Evan Closky alongside my tag team partner, as always, Chris Porter. How we doing, my man?
I'm doing good. Let's do this. We've got a jam-packed show this week, per usual. We're talking women's soccer, Cam Little's 70-yard field goal, history being made in the majors, but we start in the NFL. Jaguars rookie Travis Hunter made his pro debut last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it was our first real look at him playing both sides of the ball against someone other than his own teammates. We've been talking about this ever since the Jaguars drafted the two-way player, and the big question has always been, how realistic is it for a rookie to play both sides of the ball at the highest level? Well, it's really real, and according to the Jags, it's been part of the master plan since day one. In his pro debut, he had 10 snaps on offense, 8 on defense. He caught 2 passes for 9 yards with a long 6-yard gain and missed a wide open tackle, or an open field tackle, pardon me. His top priority is playing wide receiver, so he played 1 series with the Jags first team. He also played a series at cornerback with the Jags second team defense. Jaguars defensive coordinator Anthony Campanelli talked about Hunter splitting time.
I think Liam, like I said before a couple weeks ago, did a great job just laying that out, and it seemed very he had total clarity as to how he wanted to do it. He really presented it in an easy way for all of us to understand, and he's managed Travis's time really well out here every day. So he really was kind of the guy that drove the process on that, and I think he did a really good job with it.
And they really do have a master plan on how they're going to manage his time on both sides of the ball. Love this idea of Travis playing both ways. Excited. Liam Cohen and the team's top brass are on board with this 100%.
Yeah, the other big storyline at Jags camp, Chris, how that offensive line is coming along. What can you say about that?
It all starts up front, Evan, as you know, because the offensive line is the engine that makes everything go on offense. The Jags knew that, and they made it a priority all offseason long, addressing it through the draft, free agency, and continuing to tweak it as camp rolls on. One of the key additions, veteran Robert Hainsey, and I called with him for a progress report. How are things going?
Really well. I think we've come a long way. It's been a lot of fun getting together, moving forward, progressing as a group and as a team. It's been going well.
What's been your impressions of Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor's been great. It's been a blast to get to know him, become his friend, his teammate, work together. He handles his business like a true professional. I'm excited to continue to grow. It's been awesome.
How is he in the huddle?
Commanding. One word.
One word.
Commanding.
Obviously, just a week ago, I was listening to Liam Cohen, and he was saying what a blessing it is to have you on this offensive line because of your guys' relationship down in Tampa. From your purview, what have you been doing to try to make this transition to this new system for these guys easy along the O-line?
I've just been trying to impart the things that I took from learning this for the first time last year, kind of explaining how I think about things, how I'm seeing things, so if guys can take some of that and realize, like, okay, that makes sense. That's helps them learn, it helps them come along. But I think we've been doing a great job. They've been installing it really well, and we've been moving forward at a great pace and efficiently.
For a fan, when you say we have come a long way from the first day of training camp to the present, give me an example of what you mean.
Like, offensive line-wise, you have 5 guys out there, and we all kind of have to see the same thing from the defense. So we say, like, seeing it through one set of eyes. The communication starts to go away because you don't need it as much. So that's something that we've noticed. You can kind of just make one call and everyone knows what we're doing. Or sometimes you don't even have to say much. That's a testament to learning it together and coming together as a group.
This group has to get it done. As most of you know, they've got to protect that quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, and open holes for the running backs. But you've got to believe the unit will be much better after a subpar year in 2024, Evan.
Look, Liam Cohen did wonders in Tampa Bay. We're expecting big things from him in Jacksonville. As for Hainsey's former teammate Kyle Trask, he was impressive in his first preseason game. Trask played the entire first half, going 12 of 16 for nearly 130 yards. I know a lot of Gator fans out there believe in their former quarterback, and he has just never carved out a role. Every season throughout the past 5 years, his QBR has actually increased in preseason action. Nothing has ever come easy for him. He was a backup on his high school team. He was a backup at Florida before earning the starting gig his junior year, which he needed an injury for that to happen. He's been a backup his entire NFL career. When the lights come on and the coaches tell him to play, he's always ready.
My whole thing, my whole career is just control you can control. And, I wake up every single day and I try to be the best that I can be. I try to be the best that I can be at practice, my routine, whatever it may be in the game, obviously. And, that's always been my focus, and it will continue to be my focus going forward.
Look, Chris, I know the team signed Teddy Bridgewater. I know he's a veteran. But let's say Baker Mayfield goes down. In my opinion, Kyle Trask should be the backup starting quarterback 100%. If not, let the man walk away in the offseason because you've developed him now for 5 years. It is time. No disrespect to Teddy, but he was coaching high school football last season. If Trask is your number two, if Teddy is your number two over your second-round pick, who you've never given a shot, then you need to desperately invest in a backup quarterback next season because this has been an objective failure. I don't think there should be any debate about Trask being the backup quarterback on this team.
Trask, whether you're the 2, 3, 1, or 8, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's all I can tell you, my friend. As for the Bucs rushing attack, Evan, I know we're talking backups, but it seems like the foundation Liam Cohen set is continuing.
100%. I don't love Rachaad White getting hurt in the first preseason game, but it seems to be a day-to-day issue. Other than that, all smiles from Todd Bowles and Josh Grizzard. The Buccaneers ran the ball 41 times and totaled 178 yards with 2 touchdowns on the ground. That's an average of 4.3 yards per carry. It's not quite the 5.3 from last season, but that's still a great output from a squad playing backups on the entire line and Owen Wright going silly. Todd Bowles talked about toughness, talked about how winners play that brand of football in the second half. When the backups are setting that tone, you usually know that's a mentality created from the top down. We're expecting big things from the Bucs offense this season, and that first preseason game was a good primer moving forward.
I don't know what we should expect from the Miami Dolphins, but who knows, Evan, what to think about this team. I feel like the vibes down in South FLA, they've been awful dating back to last season.
Yeah, the team had a joint practice in Detroit this past week. Tua Tagovailoa was frustrated how that went. Said the squad didn't have the same energy they're used to having on the field. Communication was off. Also, Mike McDaniel spoke about Tua's relationship with Tyreek Hill again. It is no secret these two are working through some things. They're trying to repair that relationship that was fractured ever since last year when Hill spouted off in public saying he wanted out of Miami. Here is McDaniel on the Rich Eisen Show talking about the progress behind the scenes.
It's a tipping point for evolution, so I think it matters in that, the way that they're approaching it as a source of a creation of a very strong relationship that needed to be mended. There's a lot of scenarios where you could choose for it to reveal itself again, but that's not healthy, direct communication that's straightforward to the point of mass media. So,
Chris, I do not speak fluent Mike McDaniel. That was a bunch of word salad. So I don't understand half the words he was saying right there. But my takeaway was, hey, they're trying. As long as they're grown-ups about it, working through their issues, everyone will be just fine. Having said that, this situation gives me a headache because it doesn't seem like it's 100% resolved, and it doesn't seem like Mike is 100% confident that they're moving forward or that they've got everything figured out moving forward.
Did not make out anything he said there. I had to check my IFB, this thing in my ear that we hear programming through. I heard a lot of wah, 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 wah. All I know is this. Say what you want, speak whatever language you want, but Mike McDaniels, you are on the hot seat, and if you guys don't win, you're going to be in trouble down in South Florida. Let's talk some soccer, shall we? Sporting Jags is putting the finishing touches on their preseason. All eyes on that one final test before the game starting to count. The club taking on fellow Gamebridge Super League side Lexington SC in their final preseason tune-up this weekend. It's one last chance to lock in the starting 11, fine-tune that game plan, and build momentum heading into opening day. Did I get you fired up? I hope so. They'll welcome DC Power FC to Hodges Stadium on the south side of Jacksonville, where it is going to be electric, my friends, when their home season kicks off. In fact, I'm being told that they've already sold more than 6,000 tickets for their first ever home opener. Meanwhile, the players talked about how this final preseason game is huge for them, considering 2 others had to be postponed.
think we want to see everything that we've been working on throughout preseason. Like we haven't had many scrimmages, only like 3 at this point, but we've kind of been working on different things before each one. So kind of combining all of those together, and it'll be good facing another Super League team to kind of just get a preview of what we're going to be facing this season.
I think we just have to keep playing like we have been. I think we've had a pretty good preseason throughout like the few games that we've played and stuff, and I think we just need to continue to put the pieces together and just work for each other, and I think we've got it.
So mark your calendars, get out your iPhones, whatever you want to say. Kickoff for Sporting Jax' home opener is next Saturday, 7 o'clock, UNF's Hodges Stadium, and I'm fired up.
Hey, if you're jacked up, I'm jacked up, so I love hearing that. Look, in just a few minutes, history made in Major League Baseball, how Jen Powell's dream is inspiring girls everywhere in this week's Heart of the Game.
But first, it was the field goal heard around the NFL last week. Cam Little's record 70-yarder. And no, I did not stutter. Up next in the Ultimate Rush, how this great news for the team. This is great news for a team wanting to be aggressive this fall. We're back after this. Time now for the Ultimate Rush. This is where we dig into some sexy topics affecting the Sunshine State and beyond.
The only catch is we have 60 seconds to make our point, and Chris, you got something real good to start us off.
Yeah, the director started early there. It was the kick heard around the NFL last Saturday. Cam Little's 70-yard field goal as time expired in the first half of the Jaguars-Steelers preseason game. Folks, it was the longest field goal in NFL preseason history. And that ball and his cleats and his jersey is headed to the Hall of Fame or somewhere like that, I was told. Listen, I was sitting in the press box, and when I saw Liam Cohen send the kicking group out with the ball on the other side of the 50, I was like, dude, you tripping. Ain't no way this man about to make a 70-yard field goal. You know, usually when you see NFL coaches attempt a 60-plus yard field goal, it's in high altitude, places like Denver, Colorado, a.k.a. the My House City. But I guess that's why Sean Khan is paying Cohen the big bucks. Little said after the game that him and Pro Bowl punter Ross Matisic were saying, we want to kick it. And when Cohen gave him the green light, he knew he had to make it, because if he did not, his coach would not throw him out there for another deep field goal like that. Little says his adrenaline was flowing, and the rest is history. Evan, I like Cohen being aggressive, bottom line.
Hey, 70 yards is 70 yards. That's crazy. As for life with the Tampa Bay Rays, ace starting pitcher Shane McClanahan has been shut down for the season and will miss his second straight year. Doctors still haven't figured out this nerve issue in his triceps area. This is a really sad story for Shane, who is coming off Tommy John surgery and hasn't pitched in an MLB game since August of 2023. While I wish I could give you a timeline of when he will return, nobody really knows what the root of the issue is, and that's the biggest problem here. Entering 2026, the Rays will have to proceed as if Shane McClanahan will not pitch for them. Hopefully, that is not the case. But even if he's healthy, how can we be so sure he's going to be the same guy who once started an All-Star game? How many innings can the Rays put on his plate, considering it will be nearly 3 years since pitching on a big league mound? We're going to learn a lot about Shane McClanahan in the offseason and how strong his will is, because you know, for these stud athletes, Chris, being on the field is their sanctuary. I just hope this isn't the end of this story, and at some point next year, we'll talk about Shane McClanahan in our Heart of the Game segment.
Shane, I'm rooting for you, and let's get straight to business in that Heart of the Game. It is where we go beyond the X's and O's and shows you why we love sports so much.
Yeah, this week we're talking about Jen Powell. She became the first woman to umpire a Major League Baseball game. This isn't some PR act, by the way. She earned this gig. Powell has worked spring training games in the past. She made her minor league debut in 2016 and has been steadily climbing the ranks ever since. She said this was a moment, a dream came true.
I always wanted to umpire. Like I knew I had the bug. I had it in my DNA. And then making it a career, when I realized, wow, maybe I could be a major leaguer, then I just went for it, you know.
Powell embodies the American dream, right? Doesn't matter what race, religion, gender you are. If you believe in yourself, if you work hard, if you're diligent, the sky is the limit. And it's such a trickle-down effect, Chris, because once you see someone reach that mountaintop, other younger generations start believing they can do it too.
Absolutely. Congratulations to her. Brian Thomas Jr. had an outstanding rookie season, but should you bet on BTJ putting up even better numbers this fall? We'll discuss next in the Ultimate Stakes.
Hey, Dad. I don't need you to be perfect. I don't need you to be a superhero. I know you don't have it all figured out. Y eso está bien, porque eres mi papá. And that's enough. And scientific study shows when my dad is involved, great things happen. When test scores go up, I'm less anxious. I just become the best version of me.
Time now for the Ultimate Stakes. This is where we take a look at the odds via the Hard Rock betting app, and we give our thoughts on teams or games, and it all depends on the week, my friend.
Yeah, just a reminder, this is for entertainment purposes only. And Chris, we were looking at some of the receiving lines before the show. Brian Thomas Jr. touchdown line, 6.5. Receiving line, 1,150 yards. What say you?
Brian Thomas Jr. is a guy that I'm expecting to have a monster year this season, having a healthy Trevor Lawrence. I'm taking the over for touchdowns. Receiving yards, I'm taking the under, but hear me out. BTJ will have another 1,000-yard season. However, with the additions of De'Ami Brown, Travis Hunter, and with what I've seen from tight end Brenton Strange during training camp, Trevor will have more guys to distribute the ball to. So BTJ won't get as many targets, so I'm taking the under when it comes to receiving yards. Evan, you were looking at the Bucs wide receiver, Chris Godwin. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so the thing is with Chris, the closer and closer we get to the season opener, the more and more we're thinking Chris Godwin might miss a handful of games. He's coming off a major injury. We are 3 weeks away from the regular season opener. I understand he's a veteran, but in my eyes, he has a long way to go to get back into football shape. When he returned in 2022 from that significant injury, he was practicing on August 5th. So yeah, I think he might be a PUP candidate. If he is, then he's at least playing 13 games max. Then you have to say, okay, is he going to be playing 75% of snaps immediately? No, he will not. He will likely get eased into that role. The hope with Godwin is to get him better and better so he's 100% for a playoff push. His line is at 725.5 yards. I know that's low for him, but I have to go under. Too many things working against him right now. All right, time for our last word. Shedeur Sanders lit it up in his first preseason game, and Chris is ready to hand all the haters a big fat L after that performance. Time for our last word, and this is where we clear the paint and sound off on a topic that caught our attention. Chris, you lead us off.
All right, rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders sustained an oblique injury Wednesday during the Browns' joint practices with the Eagles. Sanders is considered, like all of us, day-to-day and is unlikely to play in Cleveland's preseason game versus Philadelphia this weekend. Now, when I planned to talk about Shedeur earlier this week, I did not know about this injury. But let's be clear, I'm not here to dwell on that. I want to focus on what we did see from him in the first pro start last week against the Carolina Panthers. And before you roll your eyes and say, well, he was playing against Carolina's third string, let me stop you right there. He faced the guys Carolina put on the field. That's the assignment, and Shedeur aced it. His poise in the pocket, outstanding. His accuracy, on point. And that layered touchdown throw, that was an NFL-level pass from a guy who has not had many reps in camp. But here's the thing you should not be shocked by. Before the draft, Shedeur was considered one of the top quarterback prospects in the draft. His college tape, his leadership, his football IQ, all of that showed up on the field last week. And that performance turned heads. And if that's just the beginning, Browns fans, you may finally have some special quarterback, a talented quarterback on your hands.
Yeah. No, I agree. And look, he was drafted as a third stringer, so I don't want to hear that either. As for my last word, USF football is starting an awesome new tradition and a way to honor the late, great Leroy Selman. The team will hand out one number 63 jersey every year to someone who is a leader on and off the field. This season, it goes to Josh Seliskar, a grad transfer from Winter Haven. Leroy Selman is such a critical figure in Tampa Bay history, not just sports history, but there is a reason why he has an expressway named after him here. He wasn't only a Hall of Fame football player on the field, but he was a bank executive, philanthropist, athletic director. He brought football to campus there at USF, and as time moves on, we have to keep his memory alive. I mean, people talk about the greatest Bucs ever, and some younger folks don't even bring up the name Leroy Selman, which is crazy to me. He was like J.J. Watt in his prime, so tip of the cap to USF. What a great way to educate these folks about a great football player and an even better human being.
Absolutely. Evan, I'm just glad that football is back. Football is back. Blue 28, red 25, let's go!
Almost there. Let's roll.
See you back here next week, same time, same channel. Goodbye.